Victor Wembanyama is coming to San Antonio.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's Pie San Antonio. Glad to have you back. I don't even know where to begin. The basketball gods were smiling on the San Antonio. The planets aligned. The stars are shining bright. Everything turned out great for the Spurs at the 2023 NBA Draft Lottery. And your silver and black will be picking number one at the upcoming NBA Draft. So, I could not tackle this alone. We have my guys, the Saturday Morning Hangover crew with the San Antonio Sports Star, James Pledger, Jack Thompson. They're invading this episode, and I'm glad they are, because let me tell you this much. Jack was chomping at the bit to start this show. Pledger called me, even though he knew he was going to talk to me right now, just to talk about what just happened. We're going to talk about right now. Guys, it's the Saturday Morning Hangover right here on Locked On Spurs. I bet everybody's on cloud nine right now, huh, James?
Dude, I have been praying this into existence. I have manifested this whole time. Even as a Rockets fan, I've been pulling for Wemby for San Antonio, and we have finally gotten it here. Both Jack and I have been trying to tell everybody this was a part of the plan.
Yes.
You don't waver from it, and this is why. For that chance to get the guy that can change everything.
Is Jack still? Jack, are you still awake? Are you fainting right now? You okay?
I'm on cloud nine, man. I have been buzzing, jittering, extremely hyped for the past hour and a half, and I don't know where to begin, man. All prayers were answered.
I know.
The Savior is coming home.
The Savior, yes.
It's wild. I still am in awe of what we just witnessed.
Jack, what is it about bigs in the NBA Draft Lottery? Robinson, Duncan, now Wemby. What's up with that?
It's crazy. Lightning literally struck San Antonio three times now.
Three times in Spurs history. That is insane. Make sure to follow James Pledger on Twitter at @IamPledger and Jack Thompson at Jack_Thompson33. Again, they are the Saturday Morning Hangover right here on Locked On Spurs. So, guys, let's begin. Pledger, your first reaction when you saw that card reveal the Spurs logo at number one?
Pure elation. Like, I cannot describe it. This has been a hell of a 2-week run for me. I was in Kansas City for the draft as my Texans were on the clock at number 2. And not only did they take the quarterback like I was praying they would, despite all the rumors that they wouldn't, in C.J. Stroud, but they turn around, trade up to the very next pick, and go back-to-back with the best possible player in the entire draft in Will Anderson. And now, just 2 weeks later, the Spurs land Victor Wembanyama with the number 1 overall pick in the draft lottery. Mm-hmm. And now we've got a couple of months to wait for it all to come to fruition. But, like, the excitement level and the sheer just run of good luck that I feel like I'm on right now, I need to go to Vegas as fast as possible.
Yes.
You absolutely do.
Jack, you know, I knew something was up when Detroit fell out and then Houston was still among the 4, but when they were announced at 4, that was a moment I said, oh my goodness, this could happen. Your reaction?
Yeah, I saw the Pistons fall to, I think they were like, 8.
Yeah,
I think that they
fell out
to.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah, and I turned to my girlfriend, Annalise, and I'm like, oh my God, the Pistons just fell to 8. And they have odds like we do. And then we get to 4, and there went the Rockets. And there went both of the two of the top 3, favorites for the live lottery. And I turned to her, and I'm like, I think this is about to happen. We have the numbers on our side now.
Yeah.
And, man, I mean, I was still nervous because they fell out too. But when that card was drawn, it was an excitement that I've felt few times in my life. And me and Anna just went crazy. We couldn't speak. We were jumping and screaming all over the place. It was absolute pure joy and just elation for what is to come, that we literally just landed the greatest prospect. I mean, Woj said it today. The greatest prospect in any team sport of all time is coming to the 2-0 and is going to wear the silver and black. And I still can't get over that it's true.
I knew something was up again when Detroit fell out and Houston got called. I said, okay, among the final 3 teams, the Spurs had the biggest odds to win it. But my gut reaction still, even when it was just the last 3 teams standing, Jack, was, you know what, Charlotte's going to pull that team that always makes the leap, that unexpected jump, and wins it all. You know, you see it time after time. Like, how did they win the draft? How did they do it? But the moment I saw that B picture come out of that envelope, that purple and blue B, I said, holy moly, the Spurs did. As a matter of fact, Peter J. Holt said after the draft lottery that he jumped the gun, that he peeked and he saw the top of the logo of the Charlotte Hornets come out of the envelope. And that if you go back, you can see him jumping out of his seat before they made it official that the Spurs won the draft. So yeah, it was an exciting time. Transforms the franchise overnight. Pleasure. I did talk to Brian Wright after the game, the lottery. And he told me that he just still wants to caution fans that there's still work to be done. Why take that approach when you have a transformational player like Wemby coming to San Antonio?
It's typical GM stuff. Like, nobody's going to divulge their plans at any point in time ever, it seems like. So I understand it, but we all know where this is heading.
Right.
Yeah. Wemby's coming down to the countdown city. There's no doubt about that.
You know,
there is plenty of work to still be done. I mean, we've got, the big piece, but there are plenty of small pieces to fill around him to get this team into championship contention.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Jack, because
I am too.
Here's the thing. Well, because Brian Wright did also tell me that with Wemby, they've been watching him, as all these GMs probably have them in the lottery. And then one thing they notice is that, yes, he is a transformational player. He's generational, all that good stuff. But they're still fine-tuning. I guess, Jack, Spurs fans shouldn't expect complete overnight success. How much success do you think Wemby gives the Spurs next season on the court? We'll talk about off the court later.
I mean, on the court, immediately you're going to see a huge increase in our defense. The man, he can cover half the floor on his own. He can come from the weak side and block a three-point shot. He can rebound over anyone. He's going to come in as the tallest player in the league. He's super mobile, super athletic. So right out the gate, the defense from the Spurs is going to take an extreme jump. And that seemed to be the biggest thorn in Pop's side this past season. So right out the gate, defense will be turned around immediately. And, of course, the man's a matchup nightmare on the offensive end. He's going to be able to get his, but it's going to take some strength, some time. He's going to need NBA reps. So the ship is not completely turned around right away, but we took a massive yank to the right. We're going straight into the U-turn right now, and there's just a few small things I think that need to be tweaked on the roster to really get this team back into championship contention.
James,
and luckily we've got. Oh,
right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought, and I'll go to James.
I was going to say, luckily, over the next 4 drafts after this one, we have 12 first-round picks to either draft or trade, and we've got $30 million in cap space sitting in the bank right now. All the tools are in the toolbox to get this team where we want it to be.
James, what do you think of the first thing the Spurs are going to work with Wemby on? You know, we know that maybe the physical side of things, maybe getting him right physically, body-wise for the NBA, but skill-wise, what areas do you think the Spurs are going to target right immediately?
Autobots, roll out!
Hey, I want to talk to you about Bird Dogs. If you're looking for a nice, fit, comfort, and versatile men's clothing, you got to try Bird Dogs. Look, you want to feel better, then get great wearing by getting some Bird Dogs. They got stretchy fabrics that make your legs look great. They're comfier than, well, any shorts and pants you'll ever have. They'll give you the freedom to wear what you want. Like if you want to wear shorts and pants at the golf course, Bird Dogs can handle that. Got a meeting, a date, or just hanging out with friends? Bird Dogs have the clothes for you for that situation. Look, the college football nerds, they say they are a perfect pant for dads that have little extra gut. Bird Dogs make them look great and feel comfortable. Pardon my take, host famously wears pants, and the only shorts he truly loves are Bird Dogs. So you want to go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA right now. And when you enter promo code LockedOnNBA, well, Bird Dogs will throw in a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. I got my order already. Let me tell you, that tumbler is great, perfect for your desk. And I got myself some shorts and sweatpants. Let me tell you right now, they fit great. So you want to go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. Don't forget promo code LockedOnNBA. Get yourself a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order.
Nobody summons Megatron.
My thought of what they're going to target to work with on them immediately is probably shooting and just, I would imagine they're going to work on probably his ability to pass. You know how instrumental the pass from the big man was in previous pop iterations.
Mm-hmm.
It can be even more deadly now with a person like Victor Wembanyama, who does so many things and is so multi-dimensional. His passing ability out of the high post can be just deadly, because what we wanted from, whether it was Malik or Tim or Fabricio or any of the bigs from the past, even Jakob Poeltl of late, it is all a distant second to what Victor Wembanyama can do out of that high post with his ability to pass and take it off the dribble, not just inside, but also outside. Like, it opens up so much. So I imagine they're really going to start honing his shot, especially knowing that the shot is there from the outside, but it does need refinement.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It does need refinement. He's not a polished player quite yet. You know, he did play at the highest level in France, but he didn't play at the highest level in all of Europe. So I think there's still going to be that adjustment to playing at now the highest court in the entire world, that being the NBA. Now, look, Jack, what do you think about this? Are you expecting him to quote unquote get it All-Star break, or maybe towards the end of the season? Or you think perhaps his learning curve will be super short and maybe before the All-Star break?
I mean, I think it's going to be pretty short, just because with the type of player that he is. I think obviously he's going to garner a bunch of attention. And going back to James's point, the passing is going to be key. He's going to have doubles thrown at him all the time. So he's going to have to learn when to pass out of the double, where to pass it, where to look, what the rotation of the doubles are going to look like. But I think, you know, the way you see it with these international players, their basketball IQ has just been hammered into them for such a long time in their life. I think it's going to be a fairly short turnaround. I think the biggest turnaround is going to be the physicality of the game in two different ways. Obviously, he's going to be going up against bigger, stronger, faster, as athletic guys as he is than he's ever played in his life. But also the physicality of the international game in terms of actually being physical with players is a whole lot different than it is in the NBA. You can hand check, you can arm bar, you can shoulder check, all that stuff in the international game. Yeah. But when it comes to the NBA, especially, you know, being a rookie and with all eyes on you, he's going to have to learn how to play the NBA style of defense, which is much more anticipation, using your length, not pressing up on players as much, no hand checking, stuff like that. So it's a double-edged sword for him that he's going to have to learn two different things of how the NBA defense works. But I think being a pro for as long as he has been already, we saw, of course, Luka played at the highest level, but he came into the league and he immediately tore it up. So
yeah.
I think the turnaround is going to be fairly quick. We're just going to have to get that body right for sure.
Pleasure. I'm thinking about that massive target he's going to have on his back. Team opposing players are going to go after him. Who is this hype guy, this alien, as LeBron James called him? You had even, I think it was Giannis said, or somebody said, some big name said that he's a cheat code. Like he doesn't exist. Like this is him. How do you think they're going to handle him, and how is he going to handle the adjustment of having that big target just splattered on his back?
Well, you just heard Jack talking about the physicality and the difference in the French league versus the NBA, and how you're not allowed to hand check and the things that are different here than they are over there. While that's going to take some getting used to for him defensively, he already does use his body and positioning well when he plays defense. Where that's going to help him is offensively, because he's not going to be handled as physically in the NBA as he was in the French league because of the difference in the rules. You're not allowed to touch. You're not allowed to kind of get up on people and hand check them and do different things like you are over there. So that's going to be a big plus for him when it comes to him in his rookie year being able to acclimate quickly, at least offensively, I think.
Mm-hmm. You look at the numbers that he posted out in the French league, double figure scoring over 20, but there's still concerns regarding the 3-shot, Jack. The 3-shot, as much as the highlights want to make him look like he can never miss a la Steph Curry, it's well below 30%. It's about 29, 28%. I know you hit this on this. You said that the defensive end, shouldn't be too much of a problem, but there's something about him not being able to connect. I think teams are going to sag on him maybe initially and really test him out. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to dare him to shoot the ball, and I think that's going to be good for him. I mean, we saw the turnaround that Jeremy made in his first year, and not even arguably, his form was far worse than Victor's is. He shot way less threes than Victor has ever shot. So I'm really not worried about the shooting at all. That's going to come with time and reps in the gym, and the Spurs are going to be drilling it into him all the time. The form is already beautiful. You can't even contest his shot, let alone block it. So right. The 3-point shooting is the least of my problems. I really think it's going to take some time, of course. The distance is different. The ball is different. The spacing is different. And, yeah, it's going to take time. But with time, with reps, it's going to be something special to withhold. And I am very excited for Victor to start on that journey and start raining in those threes, man, because it's going to happen.
We're talking with Jack Thompson and James Pledger. They are with San Antonio Sports Stars, the Saturday Morning Hangover. They'll have their time to brag about their show later. We're just so consumed right now with Wemby fever as the Spurs won the right to draft him number 1 at the NBA draft 2023. Joe, Brian Wright told me, Pledger, that the Spurs now have enough time now to make the right choice, that they're going to dig into some X's and O's, that they're still not sure if who's going to go number 1. He was joking. He's joking. But nevertheless, now let's talk about the off-the-court impact Wemby's going to have. We know the financial impact. It probably started right now. Jersey sales, season ticket sales. Pledger, do you think this off-the-court impact Wemby has now will cool the whole relocation, fear that some Spurs fans have?
That's a question you should ask yourself, Megatron.
Hey, I want to talk to you about Mudslingers. San Antonio, did you stay up last night celebrating the Spurs winning the draft lottery and the right to draft Wemby? Well, if you need to pick me up, you want to go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now. Mudslingers is a locally owned independent coffee shop, and they're proud to make delicious coffee for our San Antonio community. Do it fast and friendly so you get on with your day. You're in the mood for a latte, cold brew, or a Red Bull infused lightning bolt. They have every drink for every taste with over 300 5-star reviews. Well, those reviews cannot be wrong. They have a wide selection of dairy alternatives, low-calorie options, even caffeine-free drinks if you want to take it easy. And I highly recommend the OGOJ. Yes, if you remember walking through old school Ingram Park Mall, South Park Mall, Windsor Park Mall, picking up an Orange Julius, well, it's back. Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee has the OGOJ. Get those nostalgia vibes going once again. And yes, it was named by yours truly. So I like to take credit for that. So ask for the OGOJ right now. So swing by Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee for a tasty and convenient caffeine fix. It's located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive near 21 and 1604. They're open every day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can find them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, at Mudslinger STX. Get the OGOJ. I know you want to taste those Orange Julius vibes one more time. Life is too short for bland coffee.
I do. I think the new partner isn't anybody affiliated with Austin. We found out today he's based in Atlanta. So obviously we should be terrified of the Spurs moving to Atlanta. No, seriously though, I think it does quell it because with Wemby comes more eyes, more sponsorship dollars, more ticket sales. The AT&T Center will be full next year.
Oh, yes.
This is going to be a boon for the city of San Antonio and all kinds of things, ad revenues, all of it. It's going to play a massive, massive part. And now that they still don't have a stadium naming right after the AT&T Center is about to go away, I imagine the price on that building just went up.
Oh, my goodness,
at least
yes.
5 to 10 fold.
You got to wonder too, James, if AT&T may be like, on second thought, let's get back to the table now, because Wemby's value is already, as we speak, during recording this episode, is impacting the Spurs financially positively. Jack, we're not talking about the international impact as well. The Spurs fans been there, done that. Manu, Tony, Boris, Thiago, the list goes on and on and on. What about that French fan base again back in San Antonio?
Yeah, I mean, Wemby is not only going to change the Spurs exponentially, but he's about to change the whole city of San Antonio. I mean, we had one primetime game last year. They were talking about the eyes. I bet we have at least 25 to 30 this year, just because everyone is going to be wanting to have eyes on Victor. And the overseas aspect of it all, I mean, we've known about Wemby. Well, I mean, casual fans have known about him for a year. If you deep dive into basketball like myself, I've known about him for about 4 years. People overseas have known about this guy far longer than that, because he's been, he's their LeBron. He's the next great overseas player that's going to take the NBA by storm and in turn take the whole world by storm. And there's going to be, like we talk about the jersey sales here, he's going to explode in Europe. Everyone's going to want a Wemby jersey, especially in France. Like, he's going to take over the entire world, and it's going to change the whole city of San Antonio for the complete better. And I'm just so excited to see this journey that San Antonio as a city is about to go on. We're going to blow up, man. It's going to completely change us.
Yeah, Wemby's going to be must-see TV, isn't he, Pledger? Last season, the Spurs only had one game on national TV. That was the Dome game where the Spurs got throttled. I mean, I would not be surprised if Wemby and the Spurs are on TV weekly now.
Not just weekly. Opening night.
Yeah.
Think of what Adrian Wojnarowski has said the impact of Wemby is to a team, to a city, to everything. Like, it means so much. And the NBA, look how much they have been just putting this kid out there on SportsCenter and the televising his game. Do you not think that on opening night of the NBA in a triple header of sorts, or opening week, that they're not going to want to squeeze Wemby in there? And then on top of that, again and again and again, this kid is the alien that everybody's been talking about, and nobody can get enough of him right now because all we're seeing are basically clips of him. People are going to want to see full games and what he can do and what he does against NBA talent. And there's this curiosity factor right now that the NBA is going to want to capitalize on. And think about it. He's been doing this overseas. He's about to be playing with a lot better talent with Keldon and Jeremy and Devin.
Right.
Like, he's going to have much better talent surrounding him, which can only help in turn make him better.
Jack, that's a good point that Pleasure brought up. The current roster as of this recording, is it ready-made for Wemby to just plug and play, or do you anticipate some tweaking?
Oh, there's definitely going to be tweaking made. I mean, we've got so much money in cap space. I definitely see moves being made for sure. We're going to need – it's hard to tell where we're going to start Wemby, like what position he's going to be. Obviously, he's a center by sheer size, but he plays like a 3. So I feel like we're going to have to add another big man to the roster so Wemby's not guarding all of these monsters right away. And obviously, you know, point guard still a question for sure. I love Trey, but I'm not sure he's a point guard that gets you to the promised land. So I definitely see some tweaking in the future for sure. But, I mean, jumping out the gate with Trey, Devin, Keldon, Jeremy, and Wemby, that sounds like a pretty solid 5 to me. I'm very excited to see where we go with it.
And we're not forgetting this. We're forgetting this too. This past Spurs roster got an experience of getting smacked up and down, and they got that experience. So now they're going to provide that value to Wemby. Now you can't tell me that Devin and Keldon and Trey and Zach are going to be like, look, this is how it is. We got your back. So they have that experience. Even if it was a down season, they still got that experience. So I think they'll be able to help cover for Wemby should he, hit the rookie wall as many rookies do, or just take a little longer in his adjustment. He fits the timeline. He's now the franchise player you can build around. The rebuild is cut short, which leads to this question, Pleasure. How much longer is Popovich now as the head coach with Wemby?
Oh, I heard today from an NBA writer that they think he could coach till he's 80 if Wemby gets here, and I could easily see that. There's not a reason for him to leave now. With his wife's passing, he seemed like Pop had a lot of fun last season, it seemed like. And I was expecting him to be miserable for most of the year.
Me too.
But the fun he had told me he knew what the assignment was, and he was down with it the whole way. And now that he's got this player and he's enjoying coaching again and the youth and what that brings, I can see that. And let's not forget, I just saw this tweet and retweeted it. It was from 8:48 this evening. That's when I tweeted it. Sorry, the tweet was from 8:24 this evening, so well past the draft. And before that, this guy named Steve Futterman tweeted, "Could it be Vic and Dame? ? Dame Lillard, #Victor Wembanyama, #Dame Vic, #NBA draft lottery." Well, that was right about, I guess, the reveal of the top 4 when they were waiting on. And at 8:24, Dame quote tweets that and says, "If so, ...
Well, that goes back to your point, Jack, about how the Spurs have a war chest to play around like that. Like, hey,
they
for
have a war chest of future draft picks, including Atlanta's and Chicago's and Toronto's to play with coming up, including their own, to get a package to bring someone like that in. Imagine, the one thing this team kind of is missing is a point guard.
Yeah.
And a point guard that can score. Dame Lillard fits that mold, and you may not have to part with a Sohan or a Keldon
Right.
or a Devin to even have to get them because of the war chest of
Right.
draft picks that you have. And if
And
holding the number 3 pick like Portland is, maybe they are truly ready to hit the reset button hard and go full youth with this.
And not to mention too, James, they have flippable contract right now in veterans, the expiring contract. Your McDermott's, I think Devontae Graham. So they have flippable contracts as well. They can throw into the mix should they go that direction. But Jack, I got to ask you now: does the mere fact that Wemby is now in San Antonio, will be officially in a few short weeks, change the whole idea that San Antonio is no longer a free agent destination like it has been?
Oh, yeah. That absolutely changes it day and night. I mean, who wouldn't want to come play with the greatest prospect of all time? And right there, I mean, Dame Lillard, throw 4 first-rounders at him right now. Go get him. And we still have 8 left to toy around with. So the treasure trove of assets, picks, and money following behind a Victor Wembanyama, I totally see within the next couple years, this Spurs team will be completely revamped. We'll have another star on this team. We'll have the budding stars, and we'll have, the savior in Victor Wembanyama. And, man, that Larry O'Brien could be pretty imminent for Spurs fans if we do this right. We've got everything to do it. Now it's just a matter of taking risks and going to get some big names to fit around this guy. And the thing is, the way he plays, basically anyone works. I mean, it's just all about position, and any star power you can get around him will fit in with his style of game. So Dame seems like an absolutely excellent option.
And just imagine, if everything goes to course, it just took one down season for this to happen. And you circle back to Spurs fans that were anti-tank. I mean, my goodness. I mean, couldn't they see it? I mean, couldn't they see the big picture? Now it's a gamble.
Apologies now.
We need apologies now.
Pleasure and I need some handwritten formal letters of apology in the mail stat because we've been driving this train for years.
Jack, are you going to be pulling out receipts on the Saturday Morning Hangover this Saturday?
Oh, there will be receipts pulled out for sure.
He is Jack Thompson. He is James Pledger. They are the 1-2 punch of the Saturday Morning Hangover on San Antonio Sports Star. They'll talk about their show shortly, but we just cannot stop talking about the Spurs winning the number 1 pick in the NBA draft lottery and the right to draft Victor Wembanyama. Now, there's no scenario, Pleasure, where the Spurs trade that number 1 pick, right? There's no scenario, right? There's nothing that any other NBA team can do to sway Brian Wright and the Spurs to trade that pick.
I can't think of anything unless you are landing legitimately superstars in their prime immediately on rookie deals. I don't see any trade package that anyone could offer that would match what Victor Wembanyama would mean to this team and to any organization.
Yeah, I don't see it either. The closest I thought of maybe if there wasn't any issues off the court was Ja. Maybe Ja, if the Memphis got serious. But
never.
I don't know. Never.
Not even close. Not even
I'm
close.
hearing rumblings of a possible year-long suspension from him.
Wow. No, I'm saying if there was no off the court issues with Ja, no gun issues,
But even then.
Okay.
No, even then, not even close.
Not even close.
I need 2.
What about
like
you're getting this guy on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Giannis, Jack? Would he be enough?
Ooh.
No.
Really? No.
Not even. No.
Not even close. More. You need more.
I need more.
So Milwaukee would have to just open the vault, basically, get what you want.
Everyone would.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see if the Spurs do pick up phone calls. I don't think they will. Again, Brian Wright did joke about it, speaking with media afterwards.
The only scenario that I could possibly entertain would be an Evan Mobley and a Darius Garland.
Really? I would need more than that.
I know, but that's like the starting point.
Oh, that's the
absolute
starting point.
Starting
Okay.
point. That's
Okay.
two
Yeah.
young, budding superstars. You would get my attention with that. There's no other team that has young, budding talent like that I would even entertain. And you would still need to give me more.
What about Doncic?
Even then,
Nah, I love Luka with all my heart, but no, not even Luka.
Wow. Go ahead, Pledger.
well, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it at all.
Yeah, I can't see
It'd
that
be
either.
very, very tough for me to envision any kind of package, because even if you're doing the Garland and Evan Mobley plus package that Jack's talking about, even if that were a thing, the problem with that is they still needed Donovan Mitchell to come in to make it whole.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
they that's not enough, because they aren't superstars out now. Is it trajectory pointing up? Sure. But think about it. I just read that Dame tweet like minutes after the draft lottery. You think he's the only star that wants to play with him?
Right.
Nope.
I mean, people have gushed about this kid for 3 years in the NBA.
I mean,
There's going to be
NBA,
people lining up to play with him.
yeah,
You
NBA,
can't recoup that kind of value.
right? NBA stars went to his game when the Metropolitans played the Ignite, and it was Scoot versus the Wemby. They went to Rudy Gobert went. I think LeBron James went. To put that in perspective, listeners, those guys went to go see him play for an exhibition game. The NBA plays his French games, and he's not even in the NBA yet. He's not even their property yet. So that just tells you the amount of superstar power, must-see TV, blockbuster games. You can't tell me, Jack, every single thing he does is going to be highlighted on the major ESPNs or Fox Sports. I mean, he could just do a layup line, and they'll probably broadcast that, Jack. I mean, that's how much of an impact he's going to make. I heard car keys in a car going on right now. I know Pledger is out to go celebrate. So we're going to start wrapping this up soon so Pledger can go and drink and toast the basketball gods for having that ping pong ball land on the Spurs logo.
We're good. We got time.
All right. Well, we only have about 9 minutes, so we got to hurry this.
I feel like I got to go get some shots up to honor the gods, man.
I know, right? Exactly.
I'm all right. Come get some shots up with me.
Yeah, exactly. Pledger, final thoughts. You know, the Spurs won it all. You've been preaching, tank. It panned out. Now what? I guess that's what question. So now they got it. Now what? Your final thoughts.
Now what's the next domino? Because we've already seen Dame tweeting. We know the Spurs have the ability to make that happen if both parties truly want that to happen. And Dame seems like a good dude. Like, he stayed in Portland long past when he should have. He hasn't been a coach killer. Like, he's gotten in no conflicts with any coaches there. He seems like he would fit in here and it would work. And if he doesn't, maybe there's another one that wants to come in and do it. But the point is, this roster feels like it is, I don't know if it's championship yet, but it feels like a playoff roster as currently constituted with Wemby the way it is, because they have the pieces in place. They have all the other parts. They have the Jeremy Sohan who can kind of bring everything else that this team needs, kind of as the glue guy, the rebounder, the guy that can push the pace and just rip a shot off the rim and run. They've got Keldon, who's a 20 to 25 point a night guy. We've seen the arrow pointed upward on Devin Vassell.
Oh, for sure.
They have the pieces that feel like fit together around Wemby very, very well. And the next move is, who's next?
Yeah.
Is there
Who's
a
next?
free
Yeah.
agent or a trade that is coming?
Right.
Because it feels like Wemby is the first domino of a couple that are going to fall before the start of the season that really could set up the Spurs into, oh, are we talking about them as a potential threat to Denver in the West all of a sudden?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and don't forget about Malachi Branham. I think he'll fit in well with Wemby in the post as well, feeding off him, the space he's going to create. Yeah, I think it's all around greatness that Wemby's
Malachi,
going to bring.
Wesley, they've got pieces.
Right. Jack, your final thoughts on Wemby coming to San Antonio?
Oh man, it's just a Spurs fan dream come true. Just like we said before, lightning struck San Antonio Tower once again. The Savior's coming home, and now it's just about due diligence and taking the right risks, calling the right people. Like you said, stars are going to want to flock to come over here now. Everyone's going to want to play with Victor, not only because he's a generational talent, but also because the eyes that'll be on them. That means more money going into their pocket, more revenue for them. It's just an all-around great thing, and I just can't wait to bask in Victor's glory on that first night and just watch the first steps of what's to come and what could be a very quick turnaround in getting that Larry O'Brien trophy.
My goodness, I know you guys are still going to be talking about this upcoming Saturday on the Saturday Morning Hangover. James, Jack, thank you for hopping on and taking time out of your schedule to react to Wemby coming to San Antonio Spurs, winning the number 1 pick at the NBA Draft Lottery 2023. James, Jack, I don't know who to go to, but okay, James, tell us about Saturday Morning Hangover. I wonder what you guys are going to be talking about this weekend.
Something tells me there's going to be a lot of I told you so going on the Saturday Morning Hangover.
Receipts, as Jack said, receipts will be taken out.
Jack, myself, we're going to be busting down the Victor Wembanyama to San Antonio, what it means, what it could happen. We're going to look at other possible players, or maybe players by them will have vocalized how much they want to come to San Antonio to play with them now. Like, there are so many moving parts. Saturday, 9 to 11, Jack, myself, Katie Goodman, we've got you covered front to back. As you know, I'm going to open the show and just let Jack go.
Jack was so anxious to get this Locked On Spurs going. He was texting me multiple times. I'm ready. Send me, I'm ready. I'm good to go.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah, he was chomping at the bit. And I kept on telling him, I go, well, hold on, I'm helping out Pledger. He wants a file, and I'm going to send it to him. And then, of course, it was the biggest file ever known to mankind. Yeah. And so I said, James, it's going to take a while. He's like, okay, I'm standing by. Jack, I got you as perhaps the first person in SA to get a Wemby Spurs jersey.
Oh, I'll be front of the line. If I got to camp out, I will be camped out. I need this in my life. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're already running that on the press right now. I would not be surprised if tomorrow or this weekend, those jerseys are ready to go. So when it's official next month at the NBA draft, they're just going to suddenly appear at the stores everywhere and across the globe. I think it just is insane. Jack. Go ahead.
I saw Avery Johnson has said he is willing to give his number to Victor Wembanyama. Did he wear 6 with Aswell?
I don't know. Let me check on that. Yeah, I think. What did he wear with the Metros?
He wore one with the Metropolitan.
Okay.
I don't know what he wore with Aswell.
All right. Well, either way, if Avery's going to be okay with him wearing 6, then I think all Spurs fans will be, thank you. Whatever Wemby wants, Wemby's going to get. I think that's what's going to be like now moving forward. Make sure to follow Pledger on Twitter at @IamPledger. Jack Thompson is also on Twitter at Jack_Thompson33. Again, check out their show, The Saturday Morning Hangover, this Saturday on San Antonio Sports Star. This has been a great roundtable discussion. Saturday Morning Hangover invades Locked On Spurs. I'm always for it, and we're going to do this again now that Wemby's in San Antonio. So for James Pledger and Jack Thompson, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.
Spurs.